Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is directed by André Øvredal and is produced by Guillermo del Toro and is based on a 1980s series of horror novels written by Alvin Schwartz. This film is so fantastically creepy due to André Øvredal's absolutely stellar direction and some brilliant sound design whenever a scare scene comes along. André Øvredal's direction is fantastic. He has helmed this movie perfectly. He knows exactly what kind of film this is. His camera work is confident and phenomenal, and his direction just shapes the film and makes it as scary and as incredibly entertaining as it is. The sound design is brilliant. All the creaking floorboards and doors, body parts coming together, all sounds incredibly real, really makes you scream as parts of this film are really disgusting. And every scare scene in this film, apart from one, is either creepy, scary, or intense. They are phenomenally well executed scenes. The scares have really phenomenal build up, and all of them except for one have a brilliant payoff which really gets you. One scene in particular involving toes and stew really got me by the end of the scene. And the tone is really well realised, and you can tell André Øvredal really understands what this film is. And it feels like a proper hokey campfire ghost story, and it's not that in a cliched way, but it does it really brilliantly, and you can tell they knew exactly what this film was meant to be. And there are some great performances from Margaret Colletti, who plays Stella, the lead character, and Michael Garza, who plays Ramone, who is the secondary lead character. The score by Marco Beltrami has occasionally great moments, and the third act is extremely intense and utterly thrilling. One of the most third acts, aside from Avengers Endgame this year, I've sat through this whole year. So intense, so fun, and in fact it was so intense that I was gripping my seat so hard that when I left the theatre, my legs were aching by how stiff my body was during the third act. It was that good. And the prosthetics for the monsters are also really good. And overall, this film is just an extremely fun and absolutely thrilling ghost ride with the occasionally very creepy and scary scene. As I mentioned earlier, this film is so enjoyably disgusting in parts. The whole audience during my screening was squirming, especially during a scene with a giant spot. But everyone was squirming, going, "Oh," as loudly as they possibly could. It was amazing. However, as I said, there is one scare scene that doesn't really work. It has a really great build-up, a very tense build-up, but it is very anticlimactic because the build-up just kind of leads to no scare. It just fizzles and has no real payoff, and it's a real letdown because the build-up was so great for that scene. And also the CGI for the jangly man, who is part of the final act of the film, is fairly mediocre, and you can tell he is CGI. Nevertheless, I'm going to give Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark an 8.5 out of 10. This is by far one of the most fun films of the year so far. André Øvredal deserves so much work off of this film, and it is a fun, thrilling, creepy, scary, intense, non-stop thrill ride. Such a brilliant film, and André Øvredal deserves so much work off of this. That was my review of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.